Sweet niblets.
I know. Hannah Montana? Why? Why would I be covering Hannah Montana? Especially on the Galactica playlist. Well, I'll get to that in a bit. But we're all familiar with the history of Hannah Montana. The first big role that helped launch Miley Cyrus into superstardom as a superstar singer. She's had quite a few ups and quite a few downs, and those downs have been pretty well documented. But also, she's had a good series of games under the Hannah Montana label. First up, Hannah Montana's Spotlight Tour. Hannah Montana Spotlight World Tour, and this is the first game I'm using the Nintendo Wii for. Yep, pull on tight the wrist, tighten the wrist strap, pull on the Wii remote securely, and the nunchuck will be needed to play this title. Disney Interactive Studios, 2007. No, it's not as old as some. Hannah Montana. Alright. And give it a second. Yep. Spotlight World Tour. Connect the nunchuck to the Wii remote and press A to continue player 1. Yeah, still kind of feeling the ropes on this one. You'll be going through a tutorial. The tutorial kind of sums up the gameplay. And don't bother using a lot of the keys. You're going to be using the motion controller, since the Wii is a motion system. This kind of gives a little bit of a preview of what the game is about. I'll show you a few moves, and with the Wii, you were the controller. Yes, you had your Wii controller, you had the nunchucks, you also had the foot pad. But with the Wii, at the heart, you were the controller. It was a very physical system. I also had a Wii myself, and, was able to make use of the physical attributes, but my house is a little bit of a small house, so it's hard to really move around. So, finding files, see about downloading. Sure you want to save the game? Yep. For the most part, it is a little bit of a story-based game. It's Miley Stewart, Lily Truscott, and Oliver Oaken, her two best friends, are on the Hannah Montana tour. Of course, her brother Jackson is along, and of course her father, Robbie Ray Stewart. Essentially, you are going on tour across cities, explore what's there, putting on shows. Yeah, Jackson is a bit of a slob, and they're getting things set up. And yep, I guess they're going to do some boy stuff. The girls are going to prepare for the show. Isn't that responsible of them? And, okay, hold on. And there's Miley on the stage, and here's Lily ready to help you with the tutorial. For the most part with the tutorials, it lets you get a good idea of the gameplay. And so there'll be more moves as you advance along the levels, but here's the first basics to go along with. And here's Lily showing you the ropes. Let's get the show on the road. Okay, Miley moves aside. And there's Miley holding the nunchuck and the control. So it's like, yep, you're pretty much moving the controller. It's physical, so. And also, I don't exactly have the best of spaces, so reaction's a little off. So, but still, moving along. Yep, late, miss. Yeah, try it again, so. I guess in some ways you have to, miss. Oh, right, I kind of was I was pressing the button here. Yes, that's still like you use the D-pad. Well, not so much. And I later learned that after the third or fourth try. So, well, let's see if I can speed this up a bit. Here's where I pick up on it. Late, well, a bit. Late, great. Perfect. Moving along. Perfect. Miss. Okay, that one was a little better. Early. And down. Great. Great. The directional arrows will show you how to move the Wii remote. And also a different color to show you how the nunchuck works. Let's see. Well, still with the remote. No, that's the nunchuck. Okay, that's purple. Late, miss. Perfect. Perfect. And early. Great. 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 Yep, you are the controller. And here's Lily giving you her pep talk. Okay, where do we go next? Oh, a couple more moves here. All right, and early, like point, great, point, and nunchuck point, nunchuck point, nunchuck point. Okay. And here's a little more lecture from Lily. And a few more moves to show. And, alright, here's Miley showing, ooh. Okay, so bring the nunchuck to your lips for singing. And I've just missed that. Miss. Miss. Okay, that one needs work. Right, yep, I guess you're gonna try it again. Yep. Okay. Miss. 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 One more moment. Be right back. And microphone. Yeah, here's where it gets a little better. One miss, but all right, two misses, but I got one, so I call that progress. For the most part, this game is pretty much using the microphone. Ooh, yep, the strum effect. Strum guitar. And let's see if we get that. All right, strum, perfect, perfect, strum, and strum. And more moves will come as time goes on, but for the most part of this tutorial, it does show you the pretty basic gameplay. Now it's clapping. You bring the controller and the nunchuck together to clap. And we're about to show that. Clap, clap, clap. And clap early. Clap early. Perfect. Then, not bad at all. And let's see, what else do we have to go with here? All right, I guess. And all right, I guess wave and the microphone was next. Let's see where we go with this. All right, I guess Lily's joining in. Oh, Jackson, Oliver, and Lily. Okay, wave. Get sure you get the wave in. All right, wave, wave, great. All right, just gotta make sure you got your moves down. Wave, great. And Jackson's really getting into it. And wave, wave, wave. Okay, anything else? I guess let's go through the laps here. So, up. Right, down, point, nunchuck up, nunchuck left, nunchuck down, and nunchuck point. Sing. Okay, right, nunchuck left, up, down, nunchuck down, controller down, nunchuck up, controller point, Nunchuck point and nunchuck microphone. Well, missed there. Okay, you finished your warm-up. And these moves are pretty much what you'd find in the game itself. First starting off in New York, and there'll be other cities to follow. But let's get into, well... So, this is the concert, and you'll have plenty of others, show you where all things go. For the most part in this level, you're moving along like, if you remember Sonic Adventure, and when you're in Station Square, or the Mystic Ruins, and you're moving Sonic around the place to get to whatever part the game needs you to get to, whether Tails Lab, or the Wind Tunnel, or the Mystic Castle. Well, actually, the Castle of the Master Emerald. Or even Tomb Raider. That's where you're always moving a character around. So this also has those vibes as well. This is Hannah's dressing room. You're moving around. And you also get to... well, try on a new outfit. But yeah, you also need to make a major time commitment with this game. You need to be playing it for, well, a few hours on end to really get to master it, and that's something I really just did not have time to do. So what outfit will you be will I be picking? And, well, actually, do I have any fashion sense at all? And then, how do I get out? Stay tuned. Dressing up Hannah in her outfit. Let's see what there is. Well, jeans, I guess those might be a keeper. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, let's see. Well, not exactly the stylist. I wear fishing vests, okay? Fishing vests, t-shirts, and jeans, so not much of a fashionista. And when Halloween comes around, they dig out an old Colonial Warrior uniform. Jacket looks okay. Let's see. The belt, or boots? Oh, pants. So a little change there. And a skirt, I guess shoes, let's see. I guess you just get to pick your boots, so that's the outfit. And there's also, well, you gotta look around the city, but you're really performing at a lot of different venues. New York is the first, and others will follow. But when it comes to the controller action, what you saw in the tutorial is pretty much what you got, but you will be having some new moves coming down the pike. The entry screen showed you a few of them. This is a game that's not what I'm used to. I always like a little bit of the old school side-scroller, shoot 'em up. Although I can do a Tomb Raider and quite a few 3D Mario games, this is not exactly one I find myself going back to a whole lot of times, or don't see myself going back to. And, okay, save outfit. Okay, yeah, save outfit. But like I said, no, when I've been able to scan ahead on it, it can be a pretty repetitive game. Not a bad outfit, not bad at all. Now, how do I get out of here? I believe sooner or later you go through the hallway to get to the stage. But also at this time, I wasn't exactly sure how you got to the stage or moving on. Like I said, it wasn't exactly familiar with the movements of the Wii in this game. So, it requires a little bit of a time commitment. I think this game is, well, like I said, Not bad, not what I'm used to, but not bad. Still, you could do with a little more.
The Nintendo Wii is a very physical controller. You're usually standing up, you got a motion pad, you got a motion bar. The big highlight of the Wii was that you were the controller. They tried to carry that over to the Wii U, which was supposed to be a more updated version of the Wii, but that did not take. And if anyone was wondering what Hannah Montana was about, well, it was about a young teen pop star who decided to have the best of both worlds. Essentially, having a secret identity as Miley Stewart. Just a typical high school girl, just having a normal life while also having the life of a teen pop sensation. Trying to stay one step ahead of the paparazzi in the process. Also part of this was Emily Osment as Lily Truscott / Lola Luftnagel. Oliver Oaken, Mitchell Musso as Oliver Oaken / Mike Stanley III, and Lily wishes the last. And Jason Earls as Jackson Stewart. It also starred Billy Ray Cyrus as her TV dad, Robbie Ray Stewart, as well as manager. The series Hannah Montana carried on for about 4 years. As such, it also launched a motion picture. A motion picture that also launched its own game.
Hannah Montana the movie. Again, trying to move around to get to the start. Like Spotlight World Tour, you will need a Wii Remote. And also the nunchuck will be called into play as well.
Going on to the game screen, there, like with the previous video, there will be no musical audio for this. So all you'll be hearing is my charming voice. There's the title screen, Hannah Montana the movie. This game really has a lot to pack into it, but some of what you will want to get to, you are going to have to work your way towards. New game, load game, and you're basically setting your game slot. Choose your icon. Let's see, I believe I wound up choosing Robbie Ray, or did I choose Lucas? I think I wound up choosing Lucas. If you check out the performance tutorial, learn the basics. You have your story mode, your quick play. And, well, story mode, well, start off at the LA Concert Center. This is a game that follows the movie pretty well, but also has a few extras and alternate views for it, like Hannah was supposed to go to New York, only to find that she wound up in Crowley Corners, and the media is saying, "Where'd Hannah go? Where'd Hannah go? She's supposed to be in New York. Where'd she go?" Well, off the radar. Robbie Ray had other plans, and this does cover a little twists and turns like that in a few areas. But here you are doing the moves, the lasso, the point, and also the poses, which you will need the controllers for. Starting out, I was working my way to it, but there were some issues that was starting out, and I had no idea what I was doing. It's like you had to use the nunchuck and the Wii Remote to signify where you were in the pose. And you have 3 aspects here: performance, mini games, and tour bus. The mini games you are going to have to unlock as you make your way through the game. But once you do, from what I can gather, they're pretty much simple retro game fare from what I can gather. Simple enough, good enough to play, enjoy. And here we are with the tour bus, which is basically you're doing your business here, getting your wardrobe and the like. But I always have a problem trying to determine, how do I get out of the bus? Customize the tour bus, point the Wii remote in any piece of furniture, and press the A button. Okay. And, alright, trying to find furniture, and where do you go to press the A? A lot of times I've just been scrambling through this bus trying to determine what to do, and use Hannah's fashion design box to create awesome Hannah Montana outfits. A carryover from Spotlight World Tour, and lets you choose Hannah's wardrobe, see what you want to take, when you can call upon it. And I guess with this, the way she walks around, it is reminiscent of Sonic Adventure, the scenes where you're going from one game to the next. Here we are with the tutorial. And when you do the tutorial, well, it pretty much works the same way as you would an average game. Well, no, not necessarily an average. But it plays out how it's like an average version of this game would work. Essentially, you're doing a lot of movement. You're using the remote. You're using the nunchuck. And the sensor bar is to register your movement. So you do the poses. Basically, this is a tutorial on when you do your dance pose. Great. Control demo. Try this pose. It will direct where you want the nunchuck and the remote to go. Sensor bar reads it. Pose. 1, 2, 3. Great. And here you are going to be doing these performances yourself. Hannah getting into struts, and oh, you gotta get in that pose. Oh, not bad. And that one, pretty good. This one, oh, got it. And right there. Yeah, the on-screen Hannah is not doing that. You're pretty much having to do the poses yourself. So would you like to try again? Here we go. Let's see what we can do. All right. Not bad. This one. Nope. And that one. Okay. This one. Oh, okay, I guess. Like to try again. No. Moving on. Let's see what else trouble we can get into. And this is for a lot of the performances. So, yeah, you will be doing this. You'll also be moving through a lot of scenes, interactions, and gestures. Control demo. Yep, you will be doing gestures while performing as well. Great. The clap. And here's the demo. The lasso. You use the Wii remote for that. Great. Control demo. Point. And great. And here you are doing those gestures. Get ready to perform. Lasso. Looks like you got that. And I guess it goes to your point score. The drums. And point. So your points do seem to grow. There did seem to be a point indicator. Like to try again? Nope. Moving on to the next. Strumming the guitar. You will be doing a lot in this game. And I mean a lot. Not just dancing, but gestures, but also trying to do the guitar. This could be where Rock Band came from. It was one of the precursors. And Disney has also had their Sing It games, which also involve singing and karaoke. Also, that was on PlayStation as well as Wii. So, able to strum a guitar. Let's see if the lessons take. Not quite. I think I missed that one.
Miss it, miss it. I think I got that. Nope, miss. I got a few of them. But it does seem like it's a little awkward to follow. Alright, going on to keyboard. So, yet another control demo. You have to go through a lot of demos. You have to get in a lot of practice to catch in the center for more points. To get to the actual gameplay. But once you get to the gameplay, a story does seem to unfold. And see how well I do that? Well, this I seem to do pretty well at. And knocking down those falling, well, 2 I miss. Cool, would you like to try again? No, let's move on. Looks like Robbie Ray's joining you on drums. And, yep, you're trying to make sure you have your drum. Yep, remote, nunchuck. And outside the remote, the nunchuck to the remote. The tutorials will definitely help you. Otherwise, you could be locked into a good portion and, well, wonder how you're going to get out of it. This is not like your Mario Brothers or your old Atari. This kind of really emphasizes the Sonic and Tomb Raider mythos of where you're going on quests. As a story is told, well, this could fall under the quest category, alright? This is the singing, catch, and catch. I think you have to get those pretty well. So, shake. Another one, shake. Looks like you got that pretty good. And here you are looking to get ready to perform. And here you are doing your singing, shake, shake. Well, some point, and there's shake. Okay. You know, it's like the best of both worlds, best of both girls, and I guess some people do wonder what that song was about if they didn't know the secret. So, would you like to try again? Well, I guess not, but see, what else do we have next to cover? Unlock the yellow and blue tulip lights for the tour bus. So do we make our way back there? No, I think we just go into performance. And here's where you are able to do all those movements. There's the drum, the finger point, and the more you do, there goes your point score. And looks like you also get some point value. So get your poses and try to make them last and match. And the more you do, the higher your point value goes. And like I said, the words seem to appear on the screen, but yeah, no audio, no music here. And yeah, these are Disney properties, so. And you're just trying to do the singing and the movement. I think you pretty much get the gist of the rest of it. Made pop star in LA. Not bad at all. Continue. Yeah. And this is where, yep, you also get some credits there. And is where the story goes to take off. You're in the tour bus. And yeah, you get your phone call from Lily. It tells you, hey, sweet 16 birthday party. And you try to answer it. And yeah, that's what started out. And you gotta make it to the party, but you're caught up in Hannah's world, and you're trying to get there as Miley, but it doesn't quite come off as planned. Use the door when you're ready to perform. And also, customize the Wii remote for any portions in the furniture. And here you are just trying to get out of the bus. Okay, now, yeah, how do you get out of here?
Right? Oh. Are you sure you want to leave the bus and start the next performance? There's how you get out of there. And yeah, it's back to the concert center. And further levels to follow. The Hannah Montana movie game has a lot more to offer. Yes, you've got your movements, you've got your dances, but you also have your storylines to go through. Seems to echo a little bit of Wing Commander along the way with your decisions that you have to make. You also have some small bonus games that could likely sate the appetite of the retro gamer. But the Wii has its own series of games. But there's also the DS, the Nintendo DS, that had its own series. Unfortunately, the DS, playing off that, is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to demonstrate that as I play a round of Super Mario Brothers on the DS.
Okay, I was hoping to have a better setup here, but we're going to do this guerrilla style. And to do that, I'm going to show you Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Wii. You got Mario just flipping around with Princess Peach. The kingdom is under attack, and Bowser grabs Peach. Mario comes back, and the game's afoot. And no, gotta go the other way. Alright. So, yeah, you got two screens up top. And you got your map screen and your play screen up above. World 1-1, 5 lives. Okay, and you got your gameplay up top. And yeah, I got beat by a Koopa. And that flying question mark, you're definitely going to want to keep tabs of that, because that is a special power-up that you might need later. I found that one can be anything. Goomba. Okay. Got your mushroom. And let's see what else there is. Okay. Right. Well, 1 coin. Better than nothing. And here's plenty more. Yep, make sure you get those golden coins. You got 1 block. Okay, watch out for that Goomba. Another Goomba. They seem to be, well, a little different than what you'd usually play on the regular. Ooh, now that is, yeah, you don't see that in the regular one. Here you are going, you're running roughshod. Okay, I think. And you just pick up whatever you can as time permits. And look like you got another big cube. And one up. I guess I missed the other one, so make sure you get that. Right. And the lower screen tells you how far you've gone. And it looks like I did miss 1 big coin, but I made it to the end of the level. Plays pretty well as the original Mario does, Super Mario Brothers. Yet there are a few extras here that the original just did not have. And shows you the next map for World 1, and that flying question mark is still in play. This is the caverns. Okay. Yeah, you get to do a spin. And here's where you get to be Fire Mario. And you also have to spin in the air to get through to the blocked floors on the bottom. It's like jump up, twist, and then you pierce the bottom. And here I am being difficult. Let me see how far I can. All right, made it through, and all the way to the bottom, and yep, you're going to be loaded tonight. All right, another, yep, couple more coins, and you've more or less hit the jackpot. All right, a couple more coins here, and the bricks that keep a lot of them. All right, just those last four, and of course there'd be a bomb, or was that a just another Koopa or Goomba, as the case may be? And oh, there's that coin. There's a big one right there. And knocked him out. Yeah, the light glare of the basement does get to you a bit. I'm just trying to get up to that. Made it. All right. And a little jump here. Fire flower. Okay, I guess that says touch. Allows you to fire the fire flower on the lower screen. And also monitors your progress going across the board on the lower screen. And I guess I button benched a couple of coins here. The butt bounce isn't that the butt bounce, the butt bench, that's more Pac-Man, isn't it? Okay. And here I am trying a few minutes to get that big coin, and I don't succeed.
Super Mario Brothers on the DS is a lot like Super Mario Brothers as you've grown up with. It just has a lot more to offer and has a lot more power-ups and a lot more odds and ends that you can go through in the process to make a more interesting game. Also, these flying question blocks that give you a mystery power-up. But before I go into the Hannah Montana games on the Wii U, I think we also got to go into the history of Miley Cyrus. And also, why do I have this little connection between her and the 78 series Battlestar Galactica? Let's watch that. Miley Cyrus, a second-generation star who started out with the Disney series Hannah Montana, came from a seemingly Christian community from Tennessee, came in from what was deemed a family-friendly company, and wished to be a role model to a lot of young girls in the world. She seemed to be a safe bet for parents to get behind. So what happened? Well, you ask Miley, she'd say she grew up and made a few mistakes in life. Mistakes that were a Vanity Fair shoot, especially with some suggestive other photos as well. A picture of a slant-eyed gesture that a group called the OCA took offense towards. A pole dip from the Teen Choice Awards. Some seemingly inappropriate use of a foam finger at a show. And also an image of her smoking salvia, which was a seemingly form of marijuana. It got so bad that she had been trolled online with so-called keyboard warriors calling her slutty. The friends she thought she had did not come out to defend her. She was called a disgrace, especially for her slant-eyed gesture that she didn't think was inappropriate, although there were others who had. And they basically called her a failure for being a role model for not keeping up to the wholesome image. An image that seemed to be everything to those parents that were upset with her. So why did I pair Miley Cyrus with Battlestar Galactica? Well, one reason. Trolling. With Battlestar Galactica, this was before there was Twitter. We had message boards back then. And through those message boards, they were able to do a prequel prank to get our hopes up, saying that the original would be honored. Only to be told that they would do anything they could for their boy, and that we deserved to be screwed afterwards. Afterwards, there was just so many hopes being drawn up, only to be dashed for a twisted sense of entertainment by keyboard warriors. We were also told that we were considered small, insignificant, and didn't matter by critics, that we were nothing, and we were also called clueless morons by another critic when we tried to do a revival effort through Variety magazine. Not to mention the clone handles that followed. But while we were grown adults, what do you think this meant to a teenage girl? How do you think she would have handled if parents told her that she deserved the hate she got? Or some other keyboard warrior told her that she deserved the hate she was getting? How would she have reacted if she was bombarded by multiple handles just hating her every decision? Only to find they may well have been from the same individual, just made multiple handles just to make it look like she was being attacked by an army. What if a critic decided to say that she was slutty and that she did deserve what she got? And for what it's worth, Ron Moore disapproved the use of trolls and clones, believing they did him no favors. And for what it's worth, I agreed with him. He was also the only one to address the trolls and speak against them. But Miley was a person. How would she have endured such malicious hate? I wouldn't have taken it well. I guess the next question to ask is why? Why put her through all this trolling? In fact, why put any fan through all this trolling? Whether it be for her or Galactica or anything. Well, one reason is recreation. They enjoy hiding behind their keyboards, tapping out provocative responses, and there's no way to know who they are, and there's no way to get any retaliation for their actions. Essentially, it is bullying with no repercussions. And some people will say, well, that is for freedom. They say creative freedom. Some would, however, look at that as more of a free pass for bad behavior. Some would say trolls do it for recognition, getting 15 minutes of fame, or maybe just saying they're out for a cause. But other reasons are a personal investment that didn't pan out. For me, it was the continuation of Galactica. And I think for the parents, it was the wholesome image, saving what they believed to be good. We all, and they all, feared a loss, and of the replacement that would follow. Some likely do it as a form of indirect parenting, believing that if the parents don't decide they will make sure their kids fly right, they will. But while some feared the loss of what they believed to be good, or rather the end of what they saw as good, a lot of them, parents may believe that they were resurrecting that wholesome image that made her a good person that they could get behind. But in other cases, it was just bullying, hiding behind anonymity, screens, and keyboards. I remember a YouTuber named Michael Buckley who hosted a show called What the Buck, who really just ripped into Miley Cyrus in the name of humor. I didn't find him funny at all. In the end of the day, I just thought his YouTube channel was just a Miley hate site. I also thought he was obnoxious, and not in a good way. After being exposed to Galactica trolling, I saw what was being directed towards Miley. And while for me it was about a show and the fans supporting it, here it was about a teenage girl being made the target of cowards with keyboards. And what would the parents and organizations have thought of the trolling? For the most part, by what I could tell, they have largely ignored it. Likely dismissing it as not their problem, or likely considered it par for the course of celebrity, and believing it wouldn't have happened to her if they just did what was expected of her. Namely, keep to the image and all it represented, in their view. Parents and activists likely see themselves as the heroes of the story, believing that they are saving Miley. The trolls, however, paint themselves as heroes, saying that they were champions of creative freedom, and old school fans are just a bunch of Nazi suppressors and Nazi oppressors, and must renounce the original for Ron Moore's superior product, which had critical support. In short, I would be evil if I did not agree with Ron Moore's take and believe that his view was the right one. Was it the same for Miley? Did the parents believe she was evil if she did not think their way was the right one, or go back to the wholesome image? Miley looked to bring making mistakes into her role model message, where making mistakes was a sign that you grew up, learned, and moved on, as opposed to another message which these parents and even myself was exposed to, where if you made a mistake, you were done, and you had to make way for the perfect, and that if you could not do the job that was asked of you and maintain the image that you were supposed to maintain, then you were to step aside and make room for someone who could. It would seem she was supposed to shoot for the perfect image and grow where the message permitted growth. And as long as the commitment to the image and the ideals it was supposed to represent was maintained. So what did the image represent? Well, the positives apparently were love, peace, dignity, grace, understanding, and perfection. That is likely what the parents saw in that image. Miley, and I believe others, saw something different. They saw in the image a prison, being stuck, lies, a place to put a false perfection, and a robot that was basically programmable. What did the reality represent? Well, I think if you were to ask the parents, it represented selfishness, indulgence, temptation, frivolity, and irresponsibility. While the positives of reality that Miley and likely others saw was freedom, growth, choice, power, and life. So basically, the parents and Miley would take a look at the image and the reality, and they would basically see two different things out of it. So what went wrong? Was the dispute mistakes versus no mistakes? Reality versus the image? Was the image trying to be the reality? Or were they trying to bring back something that they believed to be good, only to become no less malicious and dangerous because of it? In their addressing of one's sinful actions, would they wind up letting another's sinful actions go, and maybe winding up committing themselves to it? If they do not speak out against it, would it be taken as an approval or a condemnation? And some may not be for your cause, as they may be more about the 15 minutes of fame that is provided, or the damage that can be done in the name of that cause or belief. And Hollywood has often said that they were not in a position to raise their kids. And that is true. But what if it's not about raising their kids? What if it's more about reinforcing the parent's position? Because raising their kids would involve ceding an authority over the children, and in some cases, a responsibility. And there may be parents that are not willing to do that. And while I may not agree with everything Miley has done in her career, I can see the reasoning and logic behind a lot of her decisions. And as for the parents, I have to ask, are you sure you're doing the right thing, addressing her issues? Or you're just winding up letting another monster or villain go in the name of your cause? It is kind of weird that you can take two supposedly unrelated things, and yet you can find like a small sliver of commonality to them. And it just can motivate and trigger your reactions in a certain way. But getting back to the Wii games, no, not the Wii games, the DS games. First up is Hannah Montana. And here we go. I'm having to use fingers for this. I'm going to openly say I am not used to the DS. I wish I had a bigger screen to go along with this. Sad to say, this is how I'm going to have to do it for this game. Yep, touch to start. You're basically dual screen. You will need a stylus for this game. You get better results. This little plastic stylus pen. Here I am looking to put in the initials I use, TUR, since what I have is, 3 spaces to work with. TUR, short for turret. I wish I had 6 where I'd put in the whole word. Some would call for 4. And yeah, they'd put in another letter. Don't think I wouldn't know of that humor. We are introduced with Miley and her father, Robbie Ray. The story is basically someone has found out Hannah Montana's secret and who Miley Stewart really is. And they have to find out who is responsible for that. And in this, you are going to be going across to different areas, school, malls, trying to find the secret of who knows the secret. You will be picking up items. You will also be playing other mini games as well, which would likely make use of the D-pad and the button controls. But for the most part, the second screen is what you use to move Miley as a character around to different areas to pick up books and objects. This is a game that is going to require a major time commitment. And you're going to be playing this for a while. I took a look at a YouTube video and the entire gameplay lasts for about 2 hours, 40 minutes. You have mini games where you can play as Lily, as racing, down her skateboard, plus a few other mini games here too. You also have moments of decision that seem reminiscent of Wing Commander. Wing Commander 3 and Wing Commander 4, where you interact with crew members and you have to determine which reaction would build up the ship's morale and which would tear it down. Which crew members you could trust and which you could not. Who is your friend and who is your enemy, and you get the you get the rest of the story. Wing Commander 3, you also got to decide which girl you got to go home with, or even if you went home with the girl at all. You also had your Path of Victory, which would lead you to attacking the Kilrathi homeworld, or the Kilrathi homeworld attacking you in a losing battle. And yeah, you're basically tapping the screen to get Miley to move here. The stylus would be better for this game. It is a quaint game. It would be nice if one knew how it worked. I had a hard time getting out the door, so I had to scout ahead to see what all the further content was. You interact with a lot of characters, some of them from the game. Yep, the door won't open. So how do you get out of there? And I was left trying to figure that out, which to date I have not quite done yet. It's a cute game. It definitely has its appeals, but you'll be spending a lot of time on it. Time you may not completely have. Story looks pretty good. It's enough for kids' audiences and fans. But if you're like the old school player, you like your racing, you like your shoot 'em ups, there are one or two moments like that here. But you are definitely going to be having to go through a lot of this, going through the screens, going through the itineraries, and going through conversations to get to those points. So some may find that a chore to get through. That will be up to you to determine whether you want to make the commitment to this game or not. Well, that will be up for you to call. It looks cute. The controllers are not what you're used to, especially if you're used to a joystick point and shoot. That was Hannah Montana for the DS. I really wanted to see about getting a different system for doing DS games. Obviously, that's going to be something I'm going to be doing in the future. Nice little quest game, has its twists and turns in it. But there's also another game that allows you to, it has its own story to it, but also allows you to be a little more creative musically. This game features rhythm action play, including audio-based mini-games and the ability to create your own music. For maximum enjoyment, please use headphones. So this tells you you will be making some music of your own as you progress on. But this is not just... you have options. Adventure play, creative play, and extras. You could just be creating your own music here, or you could also be going on to have a little story here, a little take on the first Hannah Montana game. Okay, Stairway to Hair Gel. And here the story is that, Hannah Montana be throwing in her hat with new pop sensation Savannah Star? Well, we'll just have to see. The touch screen is also your controller, but you also have your controls by the side here. The screen up top, that's your game action. And you will be touching items to collect them. And also, there are some similarities here as you're having your closet, you're changing your outfits. And like I said, there was a story to follow. You will be doing some music games, as this indicates. Sadly, I have not been able to get to those music games as, I ran out of memory on my phone. So I can't give a full review of this game. And also, I think I would be having a hard time really coming up with any music of my own as well. And with these games, to avoid copyright claims, I have silenced the volume off, so you couldn't really tell what I'd be writing. Well, maybe. Okay, so... And in the story, it looks like going to the mall to meet a new girl, but also this Savannah Star that seems to be hovering around. Does Savannah Star have her own identity? Her own secret? Who knows? Yeah, you have some transition spaces here that allow you to move from one scene to the next. I guess you could consider them transport discs without the teleport effect. It would have been nice if the effect was there. The indicators will tell you where you need to go. And also keep tabs on both screens, because it took me a while to realize, oh yeah, that's what you're supposed to change into. You're supposed to change into Miley Stewart. And also make sure you press pretty well. And yeah, get yourself a stylus if you want to play the DS. It would definitely help. And change it over. Moving on. Okay. The word balloon has information to share. A character showing. Move Miley close to the character and press the B button when the B button prompts appears to start a conversation. Cycle through. So yes, this also gives you some directions to get through. Alright, so talking to Lily with the B button. So this game does help you along a bit. And again, Savannah Star seems to be echoing the conversation. I would like to maybe devote some more time to this, maybe even come up with some music. Hopefully, maybe I'll be able to do that. Again, the transition discs that take you from your bedroom to the living room. Okay, so you got a star point going to the living room. See if we can get you there. And maybe back. Okay, gotta make sure I'm at the food court in time to meet Lily and that new girl, Josie. Savannah Star, maybe. And as you get to the living room, your transaction, and yep, you get to talk with Robbie Ray. And I think I do want to get a look at those music games in the future. We might, whatever you heard, it's not true, I swear. Oh, that's Savannah Star. Okay. Alright, another thing about Little Miss whatever. Okay, didn't quite catch that. Alright. In the, off in the video showdown. Okay. 4 videos in 4 days, right? And that means learning instruments. So yeah, you'll be doing some instruments. Even learning a trick or two. So, this one does have its intrigues. It does have its appeal. And, yep, just a matter of taking the time. Okay, deciding to see how I could get into creative play. I decided to see how, let's see what it looked like. So I decided to spare a few moments. I just didn't want this game to look like I was missing out on anything. Yeah, sorry for the glare. I changed the lighting. Make a tune. And new tune, well, I tried music lessons in the past video, and unfortunately, it didn't quite take. Yeah, don't go into anything where you don't know what you're doing. One moment. Yeah, you're going to need the music lessons. So, yeah, start playing rhythm, playing the bass, playing the lead. Pick your chords. Well, play the rhythm first. And if you can make it through that, and it'll give you a few instructions on the top, but I'm still having some issues trying to get the music together. Although if you do strum with your finger, you get to play the chords for you. Okay. Well, you also got to pick your chords. And the chords will be listed on the left. Definitely thought I should... this is definitely a game worth getting some practice in, even if you may not get a whole lot out of it. It does help to know what the game is about. And in an earlier playthrough, I was able to get through and get the chords operating, but this time apparently not so much. So you've got your storyline where you're playing against Savannah Star and a new girl named Josie Miller. I have a feeling, maybe wondering if they're not both the same. I don't know if I've spoiled or not. But this is not usually my cup of tea, but I believe there were some kids of their generation that did enjoy it. If I was born in their generation, maybe. But I'm also very much of an old schooler. Both of these DS games require a little bit of a time and commitment to play. If you can find that time and commitment to play it, all well and good. In the meantime, trying to make do of the best of both worlds. And also try not to let the worst of another world ruin your own. Don't forget to click for the month of October. I had a video in mind for the Galactica playlist. Originally, I was just kind of going to shoehorn it in, but it also fell in line with a property that I enjoy and was hoping to promote. It is a Disney property, but in recent weeks, Disney had found themselves in hot water due to a incident that threatened the free speech of a late-night talent. And it led to people boycotting Disney, their services, their streaming, their products, their parks. I wondered if I should even do this episode that's coming up, or if I should just go to another topic on the list. Well, there was another topic that I had in mind. Two others were kind of fixed in their spot. But the more I thought of it, and the free speech argument that came from it, also, I wanted to support the property. I wanted to support Tron. And that's what I'll be covering in October, the Tron series of games. I won't be doing in television. That's going to be further down the line. I'm largely going to focus on the arcade games, and maybe one or two others after that. Why would I support Disney? Well, I think I better get into that next month as I cover Tron and free speech. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave a like and click below to subscribe to the Turret Views and Reviews YouTube channel.